Since a video here of the moment the Atlantic Ocean pretty much claimed this home in Rodanthe. This is a viral moment. Everybody was looking at this all over the country. The result is a renewed urgency for a solution, something in place to protect these coastal homes. Cape Hatteras National Seashore says they have been monitoring this stretch of homes for months. Meantime, a group of more than 30 local, state and federal partners spent the last year and a half coming up with potential solutions. Cape Hatteras National Seashore says the short term is about avoiding home collapses.
What we're really pushing is avoiding a catastrophic collapse. So we're communicating with all of the owners of these threatened oceanfront structures and requesting that they move or remove their homes before a collapse, and additionally have a contractor ready to remove debris if there is a catastrophic collapse.
The North Carolina Coastal Federation says there needs to be changes to current programs or entirely new funding sources to support the public safety risk. 7 homes have collapsed since 2020, with plenty more at risk, as you can tell from some of that video. Meteorologist Kat Campbell joining us now as we take a look. I know it's a little early in the week, but people are already focused on the weekend, as we naturally do, and how things might look as we approach Saturday and Sunday.
We've got home football games in town this weekend. We've got Friday night football, a lot going on, soccer games. So I wanted to clarify for the weekend, we will see impacts from Francine here in North Carolina this weekend, but they are very minor impacts. It comes in the form of a lot of clouds. So expect to see gray skies through the weekend. As for rain chances, 20% Friday, 20% Saturday. We lowered them at about a 30% chance on Sunday. Highs are in the lower 80s. So the weekend really does not look that bad. And from what I am seeing, I'm not seeing any lightning this weekend, and that's good news for some of the outdoor games and things like that. Locally, it's minor impacts because the center of the remnant stayed to our west. What we see here is the plume of moisture arriving from the Gulf, and we're also going to see a front that stalls out nearby. How that front stalls out, the location, it could be key in potentially another system developing down the road. We'll get to that in a minute. Tropical storm Francine has top winds of 65 miles per hour. A lot of thunderstorms around the center. It's likely to strengthen into a hurricane before making landfall tomorrow night in Louisiana. New Orleans coming closer to the center on the messy side of the storm. Storm surge there, heavy rain. Unfortunately, it's just not looking pretty. But as this system continues to move up, it'll weaken. It's going to be moving up the Mississippi Valley and staying pretty far away from us. 2 other systems to watch. So the model plots on this one right here look a little menacing. However, it's only got a 30% chance of developing in the first place, and the one behind it about an 80% chance of developing. And these are the early models that are just starting to come in this afternoon. What I've seen on some of the models is this one, since it's weaker than the one nearby, actually kind of getting eaten by the bigger system per se. And so I think that's skewing some of these model plots to begin with. I encourage you to check in for a new round of model plots tonight with Mike Mays at 10 and 11. Early next week, this is an interesting setup, and we actually just got a new American model in that shows what the European model showed this afternoon. So as front stalls out off our coast early next week, and when we see these stalled fronts during the heart of hurricane season, they can be seeds for low pressure to develop along them. That's what the European and now the American model are starting to show. So it's not out of the question that we could have a homegrown system early next week. The good news is, since they develop a bit closer to home here, they don't have as much time to strengthen. It's an early look at this. We're just starting to see signs of that potential today. It's about a week out, so I encourage you to stay tuned for updates. We're going to be watching it closely in the coming days. Just anytime you see a stalled front during the heart of hurricane season, you got to keep an eye out. High temperatures stay in the low 80s through the weekend. Early next week, we did go ahead and bump up rain chances a bit. Just 76 for the high next Tuesday, Dan.
All right.
Thank you, Keely. I want to talk about the weather on this glorious day. You can see the clear blue sky over RDU International. Look at the dew point. That just, to me, we could have that every day of the late summer.
It's like it begs to go outside.
Yeah.
This morning we had 55 for the low. We're going to be back in the 50s tomorrow morning because the dew points will still be in the 50s. But in the coming days, with increasing cloud cover from Francine and low-level moisture coming in, those cooler mornings are about to go away. So this is what's going on with Francine. Very elongated system, and you can see the cloud shield extending into the deep south. That's about to move in, and that's going to be with us for the next several days, and that's likely what we're mainly finally going to see from Francine. Now, there are a couple other systems out in the Atlantic right now. This one has a very small chance of developing. It's really dropped off now to about a 30% chance, so we're really not too concerned about this right now. This red area is where the possible development is for the next system over the next 7 days, has an 80% chance of developing. And we finally have tropical model plots for this one. Very vague right now, just a few have come out, but generally what we see on the European model and the American model, this will develop and head up to the north. So I don't think it will be an issue for us, but we'll keep our eyes on it. So the impacts from Francine, this is what we're talking about: an increase in cloud cover, upper level clouds during the day tomorrow. 83 our high. We trim back the high a couple of degrees because of the addition of cloud cover. If we had full sunshine tomorrow, we would probably hit 85 again. Then on Thursday, we start to see changes, especially off to the west. I think it's western North Carolina that would see greater impacts from Francine in the form of showers and maybe a storm. For us, it's just a lot of cloud cover. 81 the high on Thursday. That's not that bad. And for high school football on Friday, we have a 20% chance for a shower. 80 the high in Raleigh, 82 in Fayetteville. A greater likelihood of some showers and storms off to the west. And then for the day on Saturday, still locally about a 20% chance for showers and storms. But notice all the cloud cover. So that will tend to keep a lid on the warming. Again, low 80s for us on Saturday, 83 in Fayetteville. And if you're heading to Asheville, Charlotte, Boone, or anywhere over in the foothills, you have the chance for some showers and storms. Now, the next system we're watching, with Francine making its way into the mid-Mississippi Valley, there will be a frontal boundary draped off the southeast coast. And both the European model and the American model have an area of low pressure spinning up, and that actually makes its way up toward us Monday and Tuesday. Something to watch, not set in stone, but since both the American model and the European model have it, it lends some credence to perhaps being plausible. So for the next several days, a lot of cloud cover, highs in the low 80s, but by Monday and Tuesday of next week, rain chances may ramp up. As we get new computer model runs, we'll see if this remains consistent, but that rain chance could likely be higher than 40% by the time we get to Tuesday, guys.